we have to talk about Warframe lore, guys, and we have to talk about the old piece in particular, because there's some insane things going on in it that I can't wrap my head around. And as a guy who's into Warframe lore, I've literally been thinking about the old piece for like the past several days. I'm like, how does this all make sense? So the first thing we have that we need to talk about is a new relationship we see between the Tenno and Sentients, a relationship I never thought we'd see before. And there's all kinds of different reasons for this. First off, I never thought we made it to the Tau system. I think most people in our in the community thought that the Orokin or the Tenno never even made it to the Tau system. So making it to the Tau system is already like throwing everything crazy. Like, it's like, what the hell, we made it there? That doesn't even make sense. And then we made it to the Tau system on good terms with the Sentients. That's even crazier, because the only hint that we've had up to this point of making it close to the Tau system was in Mag Prime's codex entry, where she made it there, or made it very close to the Tau system, and it was immediately gunned down by the Sentients. But now it turns out we've seemingly made it there fine, and are colonizing the Tau system with the Sentients, which is insane. And what's even crazier is after the Old War is when the Old Peace happens, and it appears that the Sentients actually reintegrated into Orokin society and are once again under the rule of the Orokin. So the Old War happens, they send the Sentients off, the Sentients rebel from the Tau system, attack the Origin system, which results in the Orokin making the Warframes and connecting them to the Tenno, which they then use to defeat the Sentients and send them back to the Tau system. But evidently, the Orokin send the Tenno and the Warframes with the Sentients to subjugate them in the Tau system to ensure that they're still part of the Empire. And that's what has happened in the Old Peace, and that's what has happened in Warframe lore. So that at this point of the Old Peace, the entire Tau system is under Orokin control, and so are the Sentients, which is absolutely insane. However, and this is interesting, I thought that this could be a paradoxical situation. Now, I didn't think it's super hardcore, because I'd be like, it's strange if we do the Drifter Tenno thing again for this. But a lot of people thought, and me a little bit, I saw as a possibility, that this could be another like, oh, this is a different timeline type shit. But Rebecca from DE has actually came out and confirmed that that is not the case, and that the Old Peace is in the current Tenno timeline that we play as, which makes everything so much more confusing, but at the same time less confusing, because this timeline shit was super confusing. But it makes everything more confusing about how this stuff ended up happening, and how we have no lore references to it, or at least I thought we've had no lore references to it. Interestingly enough, there actually is a quote from Alad V that hints at the Sentients and the Tenno having a positive relationship, and that is insane. I'll read the quote to you now from Alad V. This is during the second Dream Quest, where I believe you're looking at Hunhow. Yes, hurry, Tenno, but be careful. Last time you got close with the Sentients, you wiped out an entire civilization, but you don't remember that, do you? This is a direct quote from Alad V. This means Alad V has direct knowledge of, at one point, the Tenno being close with the Sentients on friendly terms, and it appears he's referring or referencing a situation after the Old Peace where the Sentients and Tenno teamed up together to wipe out the Orokin. Some people have been reading this quote and saying that it's alluding to the Tenno betraying and wiping out the Sentients, but that wouldn't make sense, because the Sentients were never wiped out, as we can see them come back in the new war from the Tau system, that the Sentients were still a good and healthy civilization. So that would mean to me that this quote is implying they wiped out the Orokin together. But then that also brings up issues. If the Sentients and Tenno allied with one another to defeat the Orokin in the Origin system, then why would the Sentients invade the Origin system in the new war, and why would Era have such a hate boner for the Tenno? That just doesn't make sense to me at all. And the only thing that can make sense to me in this situation, the only possible explanation for all this, of course, revolves around Ballas. Now let me get into my theory, which may or may not make sense. Let me know in the comments below. I'm kind of ranting on here and rambling. I hope that's okay with you guys. I just want to get my thoughts out on this matter, because it's like so insane. I just want to talk to you guys and let you guys know what I'm thinking, because I just need to say it. But let's do timeline of events. Ballas gets the council to support the creation of the sentients. They send the sentients to the Tau system. They hear nothing back for a while. So they get the Zariman 10-0 and attempt to use the Zariman to void travel all the way to the Tau system. It's unclear if the Zariman made it to the Tau system or not. We don't know if it did. Eventually, the Zariman reappears in the origin system, with a bunch of insane kids with insane powers. Then, the sentients from the Tau system come back and attack the origin system and attack the Orkin, attempting to take it over. The Orkin, losing this battle, first create the infestation to try to fight back against the sentients. And while the infestation can defeat the sentients, it's also defeating the Orkin. And the infestation is a third new faction that wants to kill everyone. So then, the Orkin, on the Death's Door civilization about to end, start experimenting more with the infestation and find the Helmet strand. And with that strand, they create the Warframes. The Warframes are the most powerful war machines to ever exist. And the Warframes destroy the sentients. However, the Warframes go insane after a while and start killing Orkin forces as well. Meaning that they're not an end-all be-all solution, because they end up just killing everyone and are nearly unstoppable. So that leads to the development of transference by Margulis. And she uses transference that allows the Tenno who were aboard that ship with supernatural powers to then control the Warframes from far away. And then with the Tenno controlling the Warframes, the Orkin were able to win the war easily against the sentients, because they had the most powerful war machines ever that were controlled perfectly by the Tenno. And then you could never kill the Warframes or stop their control, because you can't find the Tenno, because they could hide in the void or hide anywhere they wanted, and the sentients could never reach them and never knew about their existence. So that led to the Tenno and the Warframes chasing the sentients back to the Tau system. And that is our understanding of events. However, it would appear that the Tenno chased the sentients back to the Tau system, subjugated them, reintegrated them into the Orkin Empire, right? And that's how the old piece started. So up to that point, the timeline makes sense and everything adds up. But now we get to the point of where we start talking about how the Tenno would end up betraying the Orkin with the sentients, is what Alad V made it sound like. And the only possible reason I can think of for that is that maybe, I don't know, maybe Ballas caused it? That's the only possible thing I can think of. Even though Ballas ran the Orkin Empire, he was the president essentially, or whatever they call him. I forgot what he was called. But he wasn't. He was the leader of the Orkin, the executioner or something. Not the executioner. I'm trying to think of his name. But he had a title, right? And he was the overall in charge of the council. He's the leader of the council, and he was the most powerful person in the Orkin Empire. And he controlled the Tau system and the Origin system. However, for some reason, we know for breaking shitty Orkin dumb laws, Ballas ends up ordering the execution of Margulis, and he hates the Orkin for it. Or he's part of the execution, doesn't order it himself, but they're all part of it. But he ends up hating the Orkin because of it. So is it possible that Ballas got the sentients and Tenno to betray the Orkin together? I mean, that would make sense to a certain extent, but that still doesn't explain the divide between the sentients and the Tenno in the new war. Because if that's what happened, the sentients and Tenno should still have a positive relationship heading into the new war. So none of it really makes sense to me. And I know Ballas is behind this shit somehow, because that's just always his fucking fault. He's fucking evil. So he's somehow behind this, but I'm not sure how. And then in the old piece, we see that sentients can be controlled and their hard drives overwritten, which is something we've never seen before. So they can be controlled separately. And obviously the Tenno have been known to be somewhat easy to manipulate. So we have two very easy groups of people manipulate, both of which are very powerful. So it makes sense that it'd be easy to make them betray the Orokin. But we have no evidence of them betraying one another, because now this is insane to me, and this is insane thing to say. Before the old Peace gameplay demo, we seem to have endless evidence that pointed to why the Sentients and the Tenno would hate each other. But after the old Peace demo we've seen, and then taking some of the evidence we've had and quotes we've had, especially from Alec V throughout the years into consideration, now it doesn't make sense why the Sentients and Tenno don't like each other. It's just an insane turnaround that I can't possibly understand. So that's really all I have for this video. I'm sorry for ranting so long here. I just need to get my thoughts out on it. It's just so confusing to me. I hope you guys understand. But yeah, that's all I have for this one. I bet when the demo or game, when the game actually releases, when No Peace actually releases, this will be explained. I'm looking forward to the update. It looks like it's going to be a really good update. A lot of cool things are going to be explained. Seeing the Tau system is going to be awesome. I'm very excited for it. Right now, I am very confused and nothing makes sense to me. But yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be bad or anything like that. But thank you guys for watching. Shout out to my members, Pangoidus, Tanagoidus, Jay, and Simon King 5000. I appreciate you guys so much. You help support the channel in so many ways. I really do appreciate it. You guys are the best. But yeah, stay blessed, guys. Stay happy, stay healthy. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Hope to see you guys in the next one. And comment below what your theories are or what you think. Anyway, peace out, guys. Bye.